Hello,
Hello, Alphan.
hello. Please mute me. Hello, hello. Anyone hear me? Maya? I
Yes,
couldn't hear your voice in here.
I couldn't hear my voice. I could hear myself. Hello,
Hello?
Alphan. How about now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I'm in mute.
So, do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, that's great.
Change the speed.
Testing, testing.
Maybe the assistant,
Sorry?
maybe the assistant can speak English. I don't know. I think it's there already. Civil and record is the same person, usually. The host and the record.
Web SD gender interface, right? Maria?
Huh?
The Web SD gender interface, right?
Yes, yes. One.
Only, oh, two participants. Doing. See that? Yes.
They did not load the mechanics. Usually when you start this one, they would show the symbol and mechanics.
Yeah.
So you explain the mechanics, then to go to our side.
Spanish.
Yeah, we started and now we have three already. I saw that Christine or something, she already accessed the site. So they
I don't just I don't just microphone.
No, just turn it up. Turn up.
Ah,
Yes. We have a none. Hello. Good morning.
sharing the number.
Oh, send you waiting.
Okay.
Are you sending it email?
Wait me a second. I will turn on the sniping. Maria, wait me a second. I will switch on the sniping attack again. They have a problem. Hello, good morning. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? Okay, good.
Yes, sir. Please.
Yeah, tomorrow I will record the session. Good morning, everyone. Can we start the session?
Yes.
Yeah. Good morning. Welcome to our webinar today. This is Senior Richard organized webinar through the Cyber Learning project with the hosting partnership of the Simo Simulec in Indonesia. Once again, we'd like to thank you, Simo Simulec. At this point, I would like to inform you of the mechanic of our webinar. First, your microphone will be mute, but you can ask the question or give the comment or reaction to the speaker through the chat box. And you can also chat with others attendees as you wish. The second one is please turn on your video so we can see each other and our speaker can see you. The third one is we would like to encourage you to visit our site after the webinar so you can access the slide, the material. The site is on the email, but I will tell you that the cyberlearning.vncmail.org. Thank you for your cooperation. At this point, I would like to introduce our speaker for today, Miss Maria Victoria Benida. She is currently an IT specialist and trainer for Scenery Track Vietnam. Before going to Ho Chi Minh City, she was a former trainer and lecturer at the De La Salle University in Manila, Philippines. She is an active e-learning consultant, a workshop facilitator, a bootcamp training organizer. So without further delay, I will give you Miss Maria Benida.
Thank you, Thank you, Mr. An. Can you hear me? Show me a thumbs up. Okay, or
a
A
smiling
smiling
face?
face?
Okay.
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you
you
for
for
your
your
online
online
presence
presence
this
this
morning.
morning.
At
At
this
this
point,
point,
I
I
will
will
share
share
my
my
screen
screen.
along the
Along the
way.
way,
If
if
you
you
have
have
questions
questions
or
or
comments,
comments,
just
just
click
click
on
on
the
the
chat
chat.
and then type your questions. Okay, share my screen. So I'm sharing my screen now. I think I lost audio. Can you hear me?
Can still hear you.
Okay, that's good. Okay. So, uh, Mr. Alpan, can you change the screen and change the speaker screen from Mr. An to my screen, please? Okay. The screen is still with you. Huh? Mine already?
Yes, already.
Okay. So, our topic for today is the basics of open educational resources. And if you are ready, please type a smiley in your chat box. Okay. So this is actually our fifth webinar for this year. And I'm happy that I was allowed to have this topic. This is a very important topic for most of us in the academic field. So our outline for today, I will give a short background, and then I will also discuss what is OER, some explanation of the definitions, and then of course I'll give a lot of examples. And I will also give insights on the background of how all these open terminologies came about. And then of course, what if we want to transform our own materials, our own resources to an open educational resource. And of course, we would be interested to hear your ideas and your thoughts on this matter. So without delay, let's start. Okay. So at this point, I would like to share a brief history on open source. I think most of you, especially the young ones, I see some of them, you might not be around in during the 1980s. This is the time when open source terminology came about. What is open source? Open source refers to the set of commands and algorithms used in a computer software or program, computer program. Back in the day, open source would mean that when a programmer comes up with his program, he shares it with a community of programmers. And with the community of programmers, what happens is that they improve the program and give it back to the community. Uh, Richard Stallman is the founder of the open source movement, and it was a very good idea. Actually, it's collaboration in itself during that time. And Bill Gates, also a member of the open source movement, he has a more enterprising mindset. So he said, well, in his thinking, it's better to develop the programmers, and then these programmers, okay, create their own programs. And for those people who want to reuse the program, they will have to ask permission. And of course, Bill Gates, with his Microsoft corporation or company, he started seeking software patent. Microsoft also started the idea of software licensing. It's what we are doing right now. So when we use Microsoft, for instance, as an individual or as an organization, we have to pay, okay, the license. So while software licensing, and software patent came about, the open source movement did not stop. It has continued, okay? So because of this open idea, there evolved what we call open source, open systems, open access, open education, and open educational resources. Okay. So this is now the digital landscape. I will share with you some of these terminologies again. Okay. So when we talk of open systems, so it's bigger than the software. So open system, for example, uh, most educational institutions will use Moodle, which is actually a learning management system. It's a big program that handles the activities of the students, the teachers, and the administration. And as a platform, okay, this is what we call an open system. The creator of Moodle, Martin Duguyamas, what he decided is to make it an open system, meaning he shares the very core of the system, and of course, programmers around the world or institutions who want to build on top of Moodle can do that for free. So they just have to download Moodle, and then of course they create different programs for Moodle. So there are different versions of Moodle, and in the world right now there are more than 124 million users of Moodle. Uh, in Southeast Asia, many universities have used Moodle. So this is one example of an open system. But if you hear, for example, Blackboard system, okay, this is proprietary or proprietary system. Another example is Wikipedia. Wikipedia, as we all know, is the free encyclopedia, and everyone can contribute to this type of system, and it has a mechanism of correcting itself. And of course, for Wikipedia, okay, this is also an open system, but over the years, mechanics and structures have been established so that the data that will be in Wikipedia will not just be baseline information, but also reliable information for all of us to enjoy. Another example is the Sahana. I have used this before. Sahana is an open source disaster management software. So there are modules already. There are already modules within Sahana, from preparedness, response, recovery, and then most of the programmers, what they do, they download the core program and then build on top of it, and then make use of the Sahana for their own needs. Okay, so this is an example of another open system. Now, how about open access? What is open access? Okay, open access typically would refer to being able to use materials from a library, particularly online libraries. And there are many libraries in the world. There are physical libraries and online libraries. And of course, very important in the academic field that we are able to access some of the best publications, but not all of them are free. Okay, for example, the most popular ones would be IEEE, and of course, Elsevier, for example, the one on your screen, there are two on top. Academics in the science, engineering, or social sciences would want to publish here, and of course, they would want to put their publication here. But for ordinary, academics, including myself, if I need to go to this site, I need to become a member, I need to register. And if I need to really get hold of a copy of the publication, then I have to pay for the copy. So that's the idea. Um, ProQuest is another site, okay? It's actually managing the database of many of the published papers. And ProQuest, similarly, we have to pay for it, okay? So it's not free, okay? So this is more exclusive. But of course, we don't discount the fact that they have very, very good papers as well, okay? Now, what could be an open access? Okay, so for some universities like Cornell University Library, okay, they have come up with a concept, or they also adapted their own idea of open access. So some materials that they put it online and anybody could access that. But of course, you need to register as well. It's also important that they know who are the people who are accessing the site. But it's not only Cornell, but there are other universities who have done this. So I'm just citing one example, which is Cornell. Then the other one is Omics International, which has a lot of the links to all the open access journals, particularly in the medical, pharmaceutical, and engineering fields, which is also a very good site. Later, when you have time, you go to our site. When you get hold of this material that I'm sharing with you, you can actually look on. There is already the link. So maybe it's not clickable in my slides, but you can just search it in Google. It will be easy for you. So this is what we call open access. Okay. Now, another model that came about nowadays is what we call open social research sites. So there are two popular sites. I have shared this last time in my talk about how to build your own portfolio. One is the academia.edu, and then the other one is researchgate.net. On this occasion, or in these sites, what happens is that the user, the academic who would want to share his own published papers, can go to this site and upload her own papers. Like in my case, in academia.edu, I have an account. And this is where I maintain and upload all my published and what I call white papers. This is where I put them. So you can still have access to some of the popular researches. You can look for your favorite researchers, and you can look up for people doing the similar type of project that you're doing, and then go to academia or ResearchGate and then look for them there. And you will also find the paper. Some of the papers could be downloadable depending on how the authors or the owners of the papers have assigned the rights of use to those papers. And then we have the terminology open education. So at this point, what is open education? Open education is allowing different individuals to join a class, to join a course without strict admission requirements, with no admission requirements whatsoever. What does it mean? Well, if you want to learn, for example, trigonometry, then join the trigonometry class. You don't have to be an elementary student or a high school student. Anybody can join the course. Okay, so there are now not many, but many sites, popular sites that are offering free courses. And this is Khan Academy. You have heard probably of Coursera. There's Udemy, Duolingo for languages. And now we also have Stanford Online. Okay? In Stanford Online, it's ongoing, which is actually very nice. Maybe I just show you the Stanford website. This is the Stanford website. when I scroll down, okay, so you can select the topic, and they have very interesting topics. Introduction to Internet of Things, okay, tactics for launching your product, designing your career, okay, and yeah, so you can enroll in these courses. If you notice, open for enrollment, okay. So going, and then the other one is, of course, we have our own cyber learning site. We just started this year, and so far we have offered some webinars. Next year we intend to also offer some regular courses for free. Okay, so I'll just go back to my slides. Okay, so this is an example of what we offered last July. And now we have the term OER, or Open Educational Resources. UNESCO gave the definition as any type of educational materials that are in the public domain or introduced with an open license. The nature of these open materials means that anyone can legally and freely copy, use, adapt, and reshare them. So OERs range from textbooks to curricula, syllabi, lecture notes, assignments, tests, projects, audio, video, and animation. So for some organizations, including UNESCO, okay, we have all these materials now free. Unlike in the olden days, wherein we have to, let's say, need some data or statistics, we need to write to World Bank and ask permission if we can do that, okay? Now, next, we also have the definition from OECD. OECD specifically is saying that these are digitized materials offered freely and openly for educators, students, and self-learners to use and reuse for teaching, learning, and research. So you can use and reuse for teaching. Okay, it includes content, software tools to develop, use and distribute content, and implementation resources such as open licenses. So it's important there is an open license also. And for these definitions, if we notice, okay, it did not mention that we can repurpose some of them, but I believe it's included when you say reuse, because when you reuse and adapt the materials, then it could be repurposed as well. For example, if I have a material that I used in my class and then add something to it to improve it in my class, then I can do that. Then the other third definition that we have is open educational resources are teaching and learning materials that you may freely use and reuse without charge. So very simple definition by Creative Commons. Okay. So these are the OER definitions. And I will give you now some examples. I think this is what you're waiting for. Okay. Let's see. The first one is open culture. Openculture.com is one of my favorite sites. I have shared this with some of our English teachers here already. So if you notice, it has free online courses, 1,000 plus MOOCs, and 1,000, well, there are movies, audiobooks, and free books. I'll just show you the example here. Okay. Openculture.com. If I go to, for example, the audiobooks, okay, so you will find some of the nice titles here. You have, I don't know if you read Isaac Asimov, if you like science fiction, and then there's Jane Austen books, okay? And then, for example, here, okay. So we have George Orwell, and if you notice here, if I make it bigger, okay, we have his titles 1984, free stream, meaning you can listen to it while online. And then there is also the Animal Farm. You can listen, and there's also the free ebook available. So meaning you can download the ebook and then put it in your Kindle or probably your tablet or your iPad, and you can just read it. So there's also the audio version, which is in MP3. So you can also listen to it. So this is the nice thing with this website. Um, for example, if you want to look at the free courses, there are a lot actually. Okay. So you can just choose, and there are also a lot that you can access. Okay. So openculture.com. Can you use it in your class? Of course, you can use that in your class. So you have video lessons, applications, books, websites. And then we have college open textbooks. I have not extensively, I have not used it before, but there are a lot of titles available in this site, the college open textbooks. Then we have Flickr site. We have the Flickr Commons. Commons means you can use some of the pictures here, especially if you're looking for pictures of history, then this is the site where you should go to. And yeah, the pictures are free. You need just to cite that you got it from this website, Flickr. There is also open web-based teaching application. There are a lot right now, and Nearpod is one of the examples that we have. This is a place where, or a site where you can put your lessons, your slides, create a quiz, and then send the quiz, share it to your students. Maybe in our future online course, okay, one of my colleagues will be introducing this application. And then we also have online K-12 content lessons through Kuriki. So if we have the college textbook, we have the K-12 lessons. Now, the other site that I always use is the BBC site. There's BBC History, there's BBC Learning 6-minute video or listening activity. And now we also have BBC for children or kids. We have the Learn English Kids site. This is a very, very nice site. I have evaluated this already. If you are a teacher, you can look at the activities here, the examples, and there are many things that you can you could do here. Even the parents can also register here, so they're able to participate and even check also what their children are learning. And one of the biggest, site aside from Wikipedia is the Wikimedia Commons. So everyone would be contributing also different types of digital media here. This is a non-profit online encyclopedia as well. So this is more focused not on the general information, but actually more of the new trends. And then, of course, there is the Philippine online site for technical and vocational programs. This is the TESDA online program. Um, uh, there are so many courses offered here that you could learn. They make use of video as part of the lessons. So if you want to know something, for example, on housekeeping in a hotel, bartending in a hotel, uh, baking, or even automotive technology, all the courses, you can find them here. Take it here online and it's free. Now, of course, if you want to get the certificate, you will also have to take the exam. Okay. But this is a very good program, and it has been established for some time now, and it's been helping a lot of people. And of course, as I mentioned, we have the open webinars for the teachers that we have started this year. And then, of course, our own Simulec, our host for this session, they have a lot of MOOCs courses. I have joined some of them. Most of their courses are in Bahasa, but they also offer from time to time English classes. Okay, so most of the courses that they offer are all on technology skills. The developing technology skills. Okay. And the last example that I have here is the open educational resources for teachers, is the Google educational resources. So you just type Google for education and you will find these different sites. There is Google Scholar. It's actually similar to ProQuest. It will search for an author or a person you're looking for and check whether this academic would have his publications or her publications online, and Google Scholar will point the location to you. And then there is also the Google Cultural Institute that would showcase some of the nice, artworks around the world. So if we observe, during this era, 21st century, knowledge sharing has become an open movement. So there's no more that thinking, oh, I'm the only one who can think of a solution, but actually it's not. No, it's the time of Leonardo da Vinci has ended. It's more of sharing now and collaboration of what we know. Okay, just to backtrack a little. Okay, in the past, okay, we have the copyright, very important. I remember when I was a student, so difficult during my time. We don't have a lot of books in computer science. I studied using I studied using a lot of the uh, photocopied materials of the books because the books were very expensive. A library can only have at the most, okay, one extra copy or two extra copies of a book. One, okay, extra copy and one photocopy that they will have to keep as their own copy. If you have one original book, okay, one original book, one copy, and then one for your safekeeping. So that's the difference, in the past. And of course, some authors wouldn't want to be very exclusive on their ideas. They want to share it with many people, evangelize their work, and they cannot do it because of the strict or the exclusivity of copyright laws. When you say all rights reserved, okay? So some 20 years ago, maybe, okay, 2001, Lawrence Lessig founded the Creative Commons, okay? And this is what he has to say. Let's listen to the first 1 minute of this video. Okay. Well explained in just 1 minute by Professor Lessing. Okay. So he is saying, he's pointing out that some people would be willing to give up some of these exclusive rights to be able to, I would say, evangelize or campaign more about their work and find people, like-minded people, okay, doing the same line of work. So, for example, when we talk of not only publish ideas, stories or novels or art and music, our technology right now is moving very fast to the point that it's faster than how we do things. And now technology is allowing us to do all of these things. But the law is not allowing us to do that. So he now proposed, instead of copyright, not copyleft, but he started the movement on Creative Commons. So the Creative Commons, okay, is a license, okay. It's one of the several public copyright licenses that enable the free distribution of an otherwise copyrighted work. A CC license is used when an author wants to give people the right to share, use, and build upon a work that they have created. So for example, my slides right now, if I want to share it with you and you want to reuse it, okay, then I will use Creative Commons and you could use it, and then you can add some more if you want, okay, remove some and share it to the others. So that's the idea of Creative Commons. Not copyleft, but creative license, I would say. So here's an example of the different licenses available under Creative Commons. There is attribution non-commercial, so meaning attribution, every time you use something, if I use a picture, for example, my favorite, for example, is hiking artist, then I will have to cite hiking artist as my source. Okay, and high attribution non-commercial, I can only use it for academic work. I cannot use it for business. Okay, so these are some of the examples. So how do we transform our resource to an open educational resource? Okay, or make it open. So let's listen to this. Oh, sorry. No sound? Okay, maybe I need to huh, go to YouTube and then I'll increase the volume. No sound? I think not everyone was able to hear the discussion of this video, but later on your own you can look it up. The link is here. At the moment, Creative Commons is being used by YouTube, Vimeo, Google Earth, Google Maps, Flickr, and many other internet sites. Okay, they use the same license. So just to reiterate, okay, here on my right, when we say attribution, we have to mention who is the source or author or owner of the material. And then when we talk of non-commercial, it means that we can use the material, but at the same time not use it for business purposes. Okay? So if, for example, I go to the website Bensound, Bensound is a good site where you can get music for your video, then Bensound is saying, oh, you cannot use it for commercial purposes, but you can use it for your teaching, for example, because it's for academic purposes. You use it in your class, okay? And then, of course, no derivatives, meaning you cannot build on top of it. You cannot use and reuse, you know? A long time ago, Napster, for example, that's the problem because Napster was able to put different kinds of music together. But of course, when we talk of share alike, okay, if you're talking of a music, then, and you want to put together 2, 3 music, let's say music of Michael Jackson, and then music of Freddie Mercury, put them together, and then you need to apply the same attribution or same license, which means that when you do something new, you need to share, give it back to your community and share it with the same rights. If it is attribution and share alike, then do it. Or attribution with derivatives and share alike, then do it. Then you have to do the same. Okay? So, I think this is my last slides. So I hope you learned something new, okay? So, and I hope you would also think of what are your take-home thoughts on OER? You know, you have so many slides, so many presentations in your computer, you have so many syllabus, you have so many exercises. Do you want to share it with other people? Okay? If your organization or your school, for example, have a lot of things to share, would you want to create your own OER and then share it also to everyone? Okay? So my closing statement here, open educational resources is an alternative means for an individual or an entity to choose how to share her work or their works. How does she or how do they want it to be repurposed? So thank you very much. I hope you learned something new. Okay, let me see. Do we have some questions here? I lost the participant.
You can raise your hand. And we will open the mic for you.
Anyone want to share something? You can type in the chat box.
Or reaction, comments, suggestion. Miss Jolie,
Miss Jolie?
can you unmute?
Actually, I do have one question. Can we get a copy of this presentation sent to us?
Yeah, sure. You can get all the slides from the link that Maria sent you in the email.
Sorry, I missed that.
And you can get the slide for the login information from Miss Maria. She sent you the email with the login
Okay.
information. Yes.
Thank you.
How about Jesse? Or Miss Christine and Miss Queen?
Okay.
Remind them of the go to the site.
Yeah. Once again, thank you, Miss Maria, for the sharing. So, if you want to get the whole material and the slide, you can check the email that we sent you before the site is cyberlearning.pncmail.org. Login that and you can find the material of this session. Once again, thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much. And you can email me if you have other questions and concerns. Have a good week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I will copy the slide.